Good morning, Green Spring. Today is Wednesday, November 6th. It's a sunny, brisk morning out there. So get out if you can, but not now. You don't not leave this until the show is over. We're just starting, and I have with me Micheal Ritt, executive chef. You know him, you see him around campus. He's the guy with the tall hat. Good morning, Micheal.
Tall hat now and then, usually my little beanie cap helps me out. But good morning. Yeah, I think fall has fallen, as
fall
they
has
say.
fallen, I think.
And I think you and I, you know, the one thing we talk about this show is questions. If you have a question, negative, positive, you have a comment or curious about something, you know, if you can't call it in, there's so many different platforms that you can, you know, we have our town halls, we have our mix and mingles, we have the administration down hall that we do once a quarter, there's comment cards, you know, there's emails, you know, you and I have emailed. I always tell people, you see me in a hallway, if you have a question, stop any of the managers or anything, and ask. You know, I always say, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't ask, you and I had a great conversation. You were mentioning about chickpeas. Yeah. You know, and that's something I think that we could, you know, probably
at least think about.
Right, think about, and something that we could do, and I think that it's a resident satisfier, and something that we can look at. One thing I did want to bring up, and this is more of just getting communication out there, that currently, you know, and this is, you know, due to, I guess, conditions that are out of our control, that right now the freezer in the Jefferson is down, and we are working to get a new compressor for that, but we've taken all precautionary measures. Everything has been moved out, and you know, you and I talked earlier, beautiful thing about this community is that we have 3 other kitchens. That's right. With freezers, so everything has been moved out. There's no worry for anything. However, during the next few days or a week, you may see some minor adjustments to the menus, and we just... In the Jefferson. Yeah. We just ask residents to understand the reason why. But everything is, operations is normal. You know, we have secured a temporary freezer for that location. So we'll have that up and running hopefully by the end of the day, if not tomorrow. So we're taking all precautionary measures. And, you know... Any idea how long it'll take to get this compressor? That is not my specialty or not, you know. But as soon as we know, you know, we'll keep... you know, everybody in communication. After witnessing what the staff goes through and what the staff does to accommodate the changes because of all the construction in town center, I would think that one freezer being out is not such a big deal for you. I think because people are used to catastrophes. Well, I think, you know, you have to be flexible in this industry. Yeah. And you have to take whatever comes your way and be able to, we say, think on your feet. Don't be reactionary, be proactionary, you know, be proactive. And we knew that there were, you know, we took care of this situation and we made changes and we adapted to it, and we're going to move on. And tonight there's going to be dinner in the Jefferson like every other night. And the bistro is going to operate like every other night. And everything is, food is in the proper locations and in the proper storage areas, and we're going to carry on. Right. So, but I just you ask for a little bit of flexibility also on the part of us, the residents. Well, the one thing I did want to get out there is that you may see, you know, you'll have your resident menu. Well, it's just to understand that there may be some slight alterations to it. Okay. And that's all we wanted to say. Again, construction. We have a lot of construction going on. We're looking at the cafe, putting the final touches on that. As far as a date, I really don't like giving dates because there's inspections that have to happen. There's final touches that have to go on, and we really have no control over. There's multitude of inspections. Probably 5 or 6 separate inspections. Oh, yeah. Yet to come? Well, once you're finished a construction, then you can have your inspections. Yeah. And there's many different types of inspections. You know, you have a health inspection, building, fire, all different types of inspections, and they have to go in a certain order. Right. And you have to, you don't want to give a set date like, boom, this is when we're going to open. You know, not until you know it for sure. And the one thing that we want to do also is we want to get the staff in there. Remember, this is going to be new to them as well. Yeah. So we want to make sure we get the proper training in. It's very important that we get the proper training because we want to give the residents, the experience they deserve. And we want to give the staff the proper time to learn. There's some new equipment in there. It's a new setup. There's a new layout. So you want them to get comfortable.
So it's a different flow.
It's a completely different flow, and I think residents are going to be very pleased. It's a very modern looking cafe, bright, open. So I think everybody's going to be happy with that.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
And we have a few items coming up. I know we're almost sold out. Next in 2 weeks, I think it's on the 19th, we're doing a chef's dinner. We're doing the Brazilian steakhouse. So we're almost sold out with that. Coming up, and I have a few items to go over on the November 7th, we're having Woodland Skies Town Hall, and that's going to be at 10 a.m. to 11 o'clock. Yes. In the Woodland Skies dining room. Okay. And again, this is what we talked about. There's all the different communication platforms we use. And I tell people to come out to the town hall, and it's not just, we ask people to come out, good, bad comments, if you have some questions, if you're curious about something. Now remember, the town halls for each individual venue is geared to that venue. So if you eat at Woodland Skies pretty much most of the time, that's a town hall you want to go to. Yeah. They're really not going to be able to answer questions about the other venues. Now we do our big dining admin, do our big town hall in the theater, and that's more big picture. We'll talk about the program, we'll talk about construction or anything else that's happening in dining as a whole. Yeah, where these down halls are more geared specifically to the venue. So tomorrow in Woodland Skies, the Woodland Skies management team will be there too? The chef and the management team will be there, and it'll be an hour long, and they'll go over some items that are coming up, or they'll give you a summary of a recap, and then there'll be a Q&A. Thanksgiving is coming up, dessert sale, we've started that, and that is starting Monday the 11th, and it's going to go through Friday, November 22nd, and you can order from the stores only. Okay. And so what do you order? You said dessert? We have cakes and pies and little cupcakes. But we've done this turkeys. No. No, this is a Thanksgiving bake sale. Oh, okay. And we've done this for a few years, and it's been very successful. And we ask that you order at the store where you're going to want to pick it up at. The forms are in the stores. Yeah. They have all the information in there about what's available and the price. And we ask you can't call in. We want you to order in the store. You pay when you go in, you'll pay for it. It could be resident charge or cash or charge. And then we'll do the delivery will be on, distribution will be on Wednesday, November 27th. Is that the Wednesday right before Thanksgiving? Correct. We'll get all the product. When you say delivery, you really mean to the store. It's delivered to the stores, but people have to come to the store and pick it up. So what we'll do, delivery will come into us, to each store. We'll separate it out by the delivery. Yeah. And then we'll keep them in the coolers in the store, and then you come in during the day to pick it up. Everything will be ready for you. It's already paid for. It's just come in. It's like a to-go order, but it's desserts. And we've done this every year, and it's been really successful. And some residents do it for their apartment, or maybe some residents are going away for Thanksgiving and they want to bring something. And it takes. It's easy. Yeah, it's easy. You don't have to worry about the baking or anything, and you can get all the glory for the beautiful desserts that you bring. So, but you don't do any more the whole suite, the whole the meal to go. Well, with all honestly, Thanksgiving dinner. I remember those years. Yeah, with all the construction going on, and it's just, it's we just don't have right now. We have the cafe still closed, and we got some minor construction going on. Yeah, it's really we're not feasible. Too much. Yeah. Yeah, to do that. Yeah, it's okay. I just wondered. Again, Wednesday, November 13th. There are the call-in number is right on your screen. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Michael. That's all right. If you have a question for dining, now's the time to call, okay? 703-663-3333. Can't go wrong with that, all these threes. So, Wednesday the 13th, we've been doing this for a couple years. The birthday cake's out in the lobbies.
Yeah.
And I think everybody enjoys that. You know, if it's your birthday, have a piece. If it's not, you sneak a piece. You know,
That's
no
right.
one cares.
Yeah.
So
nobody asks.
Nobody
to see
asks.
Your
Have
ID.
a piece of cake on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think everybody enjoys it. Again, next Friday the 15th is Night on the Town. And
and I mentioned to you earlier that I've heard some people be really disappointed because that's a big deal and people want to come and people
Correct.
it's an opportunity for people to dress up. Some people like doing that, and it is one of the 2 weeks of the year that the play is on. And so Friday is a big night, 200 plus people, 240 or so in the audience, and then the actors and the people who work behind the scenes can't participate.
well,
So
if they can get their, I don't know if they can get their reservations in early to
No, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
they, the ones who work have to be down there
Right.
at 6
And
o'clock.
it's
It's
something
just
that-
one of those things.
something
It's
we
not
can
the
look at in
first
the
time.
something we
but
can look at in the future.
I was
and-
asked to make sure
sure.
that to check with the other departments and coordinate maybe a little better.
Okay, we can something.
And I
in
know
the
there are other
future-
things going on too on a Friday night.
Correct.
But this is special. with the
Okay, and it's
theater.
something in the future that we can look with and
Would be
communicate
good.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, as I mentioned, on the 19th, and that's a Tuesday, November 19th, is our evening with the chef, and it's in the Akatik room. The RSVP is by the 12th. I think there's just a few more seats. We're doing a Brazilian steakhouse. We've done this in the past, and we're doing the real Brazilian steakhouse where we have the swords for all
really?
the proteins, and we have the little chips, the red and the green on there. So if you're done, you flip it over if you want more, and it's really a fun evening.
I don't know what that means. Can you explain that a little more?
So what happens is we'll have different types of proteins coming out, and you'll see that the one skewer may have duck on it. One skewer may have filet mignon on it. One skewer may have shrimp on it. And the servers will walk around, or the chefs will walk around with these skewers, and can I have a little more duck? The sides and the salads will be family style on the table. And then they just walk around with the different proteins. It could be pork, it could be any type of protein that we're doing. And the residents, can I have a little more duck? Sure. And they'll come to your table, they'll take it right off the sword and put it on your plate. Or if you see the person with the chicken breast, can I have a little chicken? And they'll take it. Just like if you went to a real Brazilian steakhouse.
Well, I don't do that. That's why I'm asking.
I know.
I have no idea. But
So,
it sounds
it's,
like fun.
It's a
if
fun
you eat
evening.
meat.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the residents truly enjoy it.
What
Then-
drinks do you serve with that?
I think they're coming up, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. I know they're putting together, going to have like maybe a specialty drink for that evening that they'll put together. So I think, maybe something that I couldn't tell you. But I
Okay.
know they're thinking up, but there's going to be, it's a
this
full
kind of evening asked for.
Yeah,
special
it's a
drink,
really
doesn't
nice
it?
evening. There will be wine served. We always do wine at the evening with the chef, and it's a full course with the soup and a salad, and there's going to be a dessert, and so it'll be some really nice
Yeah.
offerings.
Yeah.
So
How much is the charge?
It
you know?
is flex. I do not have that on me,
Okay.
but it is flex plus. And there's a different charge for with wine and without.
That makes sense.
If you do call, and the number is 604-4200, and that is Nahid, who
Yes.
is our admin assistant, and she'll have all that information for you. And I think
Okay.
there's a few more seats available.
Is that the number you would call to
Yeah,
make a
it's
reservation?
right, and they have it right up on the screen now. It's 604-4200.
Yeah.
And call by next Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, call
Yeah,
this
you
week.
wanna-
There's a few more
you wanna know
open. It's been
before
very
the
popular,
evening.
I
bet. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So coming up, following that, is November 25th, is National Parfait Day.
Who knew?
Who knew, right? All these
National
special
Parfait
days.
Day.
So
Sounds good.
We'll be seeing, you'll see, and we have it up on the screen now, that we're going to have complimentary treats. I don't think anybody ever just says, walks by and, no, I don't want any of that. So we're going to be doing parfaits, and we give the autonomy to the kitchens, however parfait they want to do, some kind of parfait. but they're going to be, Village Squares at 11, Town Center's at 1, and then 100 Crossings at 2. So they're going to be available in all 3 lobbies.
So the chefs can be creative.
They can be creative. They can do whatever they want.
What makes a parfait?
It's the layers, and with a little whipped cream, and if you want to put a little yogurt in there and some fresh fruit, if you want to put some granola, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
You can, some nice granola in there, maybe some fresh strawberries. If you want to put a little vanilla yogurt or some Greek yogurt in the bottom, and then you want to put a little whipped cream on top. Listen, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I just wonder what makes a parfait different from other desserts.
And it's just a little layer.
Okay,
and it's layered. Yeah, and you want to make it nice.
It looks pretty.
It's good too. Yeah. So, if you want that. And then coming up on the 26th is National Cake Day.
Really? The next day?
The next day.
Okay,
but
so we don't want to...
But parfait is going to be in the lobby. National Cake Day is going to be in the dining rooms. So they're going to be, maybe do a specialty cake or, some kind of special cake that they'll be serving. We always do cakes and pies, but assorted cakes are going to be offered in all the independent living dining rooms during dinner service. So, the one thing it's funny we've talked about here is that, I've talked to a lot of new residents, and I go to a lot of the sales and marketing events, and I talk to prospective residents there, and I say, I can guarantee you that you will not go hungry moving in here. And you and I talked about it. We're working on even more variety.
Yeah.
As we look at future population, we're hitting the cusp of the baby boomers, and their knowledge on food is a little more extensive.
Right.
They're more health conscious. So we are looking at, you and I have talked about plant-based. We've talked about more proteins, grains. So these are all things that we're taking into consideration and that we're looking at. And how do we offer them in an environment like ours?
That's
it's easy at home to make something for you or 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
When we do something like this, we have to look at it like, not just in one kitchen, not just in one community, but how can we develop something like this that we can spread out through the enterprise and do it consistently and right in each community? We can come up with some nice grain bowls, but can we do that throughout the country in all of our communities? And that's something that we'd like to offer.
Yeah. And I think you should. I mean, not only do I think you should, I think you will have to stay competitive.
Right, and I know
as we watch how the public discourse changes about eating and health and environment.
And I know as an enterprise we are looking at this, and there's some of us who are actually working on some projects, as they call it.
That's great.
Looking at how can, and it's all about variety. I think the big thing with our residents is variety. We want
and choice.
And variety and choice. And we want to give you that opportunity so that no matter who you are and what kind of diet you have, that there's always options for you.
Right. That would be good.
And
we
work.
It's not the case now, but you're
well,
working
I think
towards
we've gotten.
it.
I think we've gotten a lot better.
I think so too.
I think we're moving in the right direction.
And that's what makes me hopeful. That I can see. I've only lived here now as a resident a year and a half.
And you and I've worked together when you were,
for years.
Yeah,
but I can see that it's moving.
Right, I think we're moving in the right direction.
Than I want, because I'm impatient, and as you said, it's a big enterprise. I understand that, but at least you're moving. So it's good.
Someone once described it's like turning an aircraft carrier.
That's right. Yeah.
You got to plot it. You got to plan your course.
Yeah.
You got to communicate it out, and then you slowly move it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we are. And then obviously at the end of the month we have Thanksgiving Day, and then note that that obviously 28th there's going to be modified hours. Obviously,
I think that's the day after Thanksgiving, right? The 28th. I'm not sure about that.
No, the Thanksgiving Day is Thursday, November 28th.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, and we always have, on Thanksgiving there's modified hours. I know they have it up on the screen. I know it's been communicated out.
Yeah, that's a big
And obviously
holiday.
We're going to have modified menus that day for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And the big reason we do the modified hours, I know some residents are like, but listen, we want our team to enjoy time with their family
Of course.
too. And that's a big thing. I want the residents to enjoy Thanksgiving, but I also want the team to enjoy it too. Spend time with your family. We can come in here, we can offer a beautiful meal, Thanksgiving meal, to the residents, and then we can, finish up and give the team enough time to get home and enjoy it with their family.
Absolutely, everybody should. It's such a special day in this country.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what we got coming up in November.
Okay. And then the day after Thanksgiving, you all snap back to normal?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the one thing with dining. I give it to, and this dining team, listen, I know I sound like a broken record, but I will put this dining team up against any, and I'm not just talking about Erickson, I'm talking about any dining team in any community, anywhere. They're strong, they're dedicated, they go the extra step. Sometimes, they have obstacles that face them head on, but they always figure out a way around it.
Sure, and it's always about learning and continuing to communicate. As you said earlier, I think that's a real important aspect. I always tell residents, fill out those comment cards. I think you had a shortage of comment cards, so people who wanted to fill them out couldn't always find one the last few weeks, but I understand you're over that hump now, so that's good. So please, something good or something bad, do fill out those comment cards, because otherwise they don't know.
Right, what did I say? Don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And good or bad. I always say, the comment cards aren't, some people are like, oh, I'm going to tell us, we like to hear the good stuff. You know?
Of course.
I just had duck today, and it was the best duck I've ever had.
Yeah.
And it also helps us write our menus. Let us know what you like. Sure, we have reports that we can run off the systems and that we use, and that's great. But we also want to hear from the residents. What do you like? What do you want to see more of? What don't you, what don't you? We take that information, we look at it, we compile it, and we're like, okay. And you'll be surprised the difference in each dining room. You would think we're one big community.
Oh, no.
We're like a microcosm of a small hamlet. This neighborhood, this street block may be different than that one. So this dining room, what they like in this dining room may not work over here. These residents like things this way. These residents like things that way.
Interesting.
So, there's a lot of planning that it's involved. When you think you have 1,700 residents in IL, that's quite a lot of people. And we try to please all of them all the time. Obviously that's an endeavor, that's a huge endeavor. But I think with all the communication pieces and, talking to the residents and coming out to these town halls and listen, let us know.
Yeah, exactly. And we all have to do that, because we sometimes feel that it doesn't matter whether we tell you or not, nothing's changing. But when you look in detail, things are moving. Like I said, not always at the pace we would like.
Well, we're not going to move, like grease lightning, because remember, there's a lot of factors involved.
But that doesn't mean that we should stop talking. That certainly wouldn't help.
And there's a lot of factors involved when you make changes, and you don't want to make changes quick. I think our residents like the slow, they want to see, okay, here's what's coming, here's the date, here's what we're going to do. If you just, boom, we made a change, sometimes it's a shock to the system. So, and then on our side, there's a lot of planning and logistics and organizing involved in, if you want to bring in a new product, if you want to try something, writing the menus. When these chefs and managers write the menus, there's a lot of detail and a lot of work that's involved in doing this.
Yeah, well, and then, as some people sometimes say, and then there's corporate. So I don't always know how.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now that
a role corporate plays, but
as far as writing our
menus,
as far as writing our menus, our chefs and the management team have full autonomy. As long as they use the recipes in our recipe vault, and they use the products that have been vetted and from our suppliers, that's fine. No one's sending them a menu saying you got to write this, you got to serve this. They write their own menus each and every month. They select their specials each and every week. They pick what soups they want to do. They pick what salads they want to do. Now, the Recipe Vault has about 11,000 recipes. So there's a vast amount of recipes they can choose from. Like I said, some kitchens run certain recipes. Some chefs like to work more with seafood. Some like to work more with proteins. Some like to do things like this. But as long as you stay within the parameters of the program, you know, there's freedom in the framework.
Yeah.
But, and I never write a menu and hand it to the chef. Here's your menu you got to write this week. I'd never done that since I've been here, nor will I, because I've total faith and confidence in all of our management teams. We always tell them, think of this dining room, this venue, like you're an owner operator. Like we took this venue and just put it down the road on the street, and think like that and run it like that. These residents are your guests, are coming in each and every day.
Do you have any words of wisdom on training? I know you do ongoing training. I think we've had a lot of new staff in Woodland Skies.
Talking about servers, I think it's an ongoing process. And the one thing that residents have to remember, especially in the front of the house, not as much in the back house, but in the front of the house, with the seniors, we're always turning over. And I think you're turning over, think about it, there's like 75 to 80 seniors every year.
When you say seniors, you mean kids
who they're graduating from high school.
Not seniors like me.
12th graders, does that work better?
Yeah.
So we're turning that over. There's no business out there.
And we had a huge class of graduates this year.
And there's no business out there with this model that if I walked into Mike's over here, the restaurant, and said, okay, I'm taking 45% of your servers every year out, and you got to hire a whole new batch. They'd look at me like you're crazy. But we do it each and every year, and kudos, and I commend our management team for handling this, because a lot of these students, it's their first job.
That's right, obviously.
Yeah, and there's a lot to overcome. We were talking about that. We had a lunch yesterday, and one of the good things is that I think majority of our residents are receptive to that, and they see the young kids coming in here with their first job, and there's a lot of great bonds and friendships formed between the residents and the staff, and some of these servers stay on for years, through high school.
Right.
And there's a lot of wisdom and there's a lot of knowledge that the residents pass on.
Thank goodness.
To the students.
That's one of the beauties.
And we said there's something that you can't get at another job, and you can't put a price on it. You have residents who've had jobs all over the world, who've done all sorts of, held different responsibilities, and you can't get that in a classroom. So I think
with that, perfect way to end this half hour.
Boom.
Can you believe it's already a half hour over? I'm sorry nobody called in, but I hope you found our conversation useful.